majors, and the Houston Astros clinched the AL West title for the first time in franchise history. Houston and Cleveland are the only teams in the American League to clinch a playoff spot. The Stros still in the hunt for the best record in the AL, sitting just a game and a half behind the Tribe. Justin Verlander led the way for the Stros in the division-clinching game, struck out 10 over 7 innings of work as Houston took out the Mariners. Verlander has been putting up some ridiculous numbers since joining the Stros. 3-0, ERA .86.
What?
So Dylan is
That'd be a crazy good whip, let alone an ERA.
I mean, this is certainly what the Astros were hoping they would get when he came over from Detroit.
This what
is
they
he
needed.
the key piece, though, when they get to the postseason, if they meet Cleveland, to try and beat the Indians?
You could sell a couple different guys, but I think he is. And I'll tell you why. I honestly felt when we heard for weeks on end, after the regular deadline, the Astros may make a move for Verlander. I really thought if they don't make the move for Justin Verlander, they are not World Series contenders in my mind. If they get Verlander and they get a guy who kind of reinvents himself and uses this as an opportunity to clean the slate and really re-challenge himself, then they are World Series contenders. So when one player can really change the fate of your World Series hopes the way Verlander has and that acquisition has for Houston, then I really do think he is the most important guy, especially when you look at the ace in waiting, Dallas Keuchel. He's been somewhat inconsistent.
Some ups and some downs.
Like 3 out of his last 6 starts, he's given up at least 3 earned runs. He got absolutely he imploded in one of those starts. He hasn't looked totally himself from the first 2 months of the season ever since the neck injury. He missed all that time, and he just looks rusty. So to bring in a guy with playoff experience who really gives you that 1-2 punch, assuming Dallas Keuchel is okay and can perform like himself once we get to October, this really puts them in position to go toe-to-toe with the Cleveland Indians, to go toe-to-toe with the Boston Red Sox, the other teams they may face in the American League. Now, I still prefer the Tribe and their chances to repeat as AL pennant winners, but I do think that with Verlander there, they're going to have to be able to shut down some good offenses in the American League playoff picture, and with just Dallas Keuchel, you're not going to be able to do that over the course of a 5 or a 7-game series. With Verlander and him making at least a couple starts in those series, and him pitching the way he's pitching, I mean, he looks like a new guy. You know, he's hit 95, 96 on the gun. The breaking balls just has a ton of great movement on it that you love to see. I mean, he's missing bats by a lot, and I think that really does completely change their starting pitching rotation. We know they've got a great offense. Altuve's my AL MVP. Springer's an incredible player, and now that Correa's back, if he can get to be himself again, this is a formidable offense, but you don't win without pitching, and he gives them that leg up that they didn't have prior to acquiring.
Yeah, I think the experience factor is huge, as you mentioned, because Keuchel doesn't necessarily have a ton of playoff experience.
Pitch, not much.
Correa is young. Springer is young. So this is a guy in Verlander who's been through the battles. He's been through the wars. He's got a ton of postseason experience, and he can try to help these other players to know what it takes and how to handle yourself, how to conduct yourself.
Just psychologically, talking to the other guys in the clubhouse. And when you think of that rotation, if not for Verlander, it goes to what? Peacock, who's been good, but guys with no experience. Totally changes their rotation.
Yeah, that's not what you want.